Welcome back. All right, 11 games tonight in the National Hockey League. 2 of them ended up being 80s games. One of them ended up being a no mercy game, and 3 of them ended up being shutouts. So definitely a variety there. Whatever you might have been looking for tonight, you might have got it, depending on who you root for. All right, first up, we're going to talk about Ottawa and Boston. So it's Forsberg versus Korpisalo. The teams trade turnovers. The shots are 3-0 for Boston 2 minutes in. Bruins press at 2.5 minutes. The Senators press at 4 minutes. Things get pushed in a hold by Forsberg. Senators press at 7 minutes, but they're overpassing. So Ottawa started struggling with their scoring. It's something I noticed when I was doing, the stats over the last month and noticing a lot of their players are kind of in slumps, and now it's really starting to take over. The shots are 7-2 for Boston with 9 minutes left. Sens draw a power play. That's killed off. Ottawa goes back to the power play. That's killed off as well. Ottawa presses in the final minute. We have no goals in the first period. Second period. Early press by Boston. Zacha's denied. And then at 2:08, Geekie tips in a net feed. Pastrnak and Carlo with the assists. It's 1-0 for Boston. Shots are 7-1 Boston at 3.5 minutes. Senators press at 8 minutes. Geekie to Pastrnak. That chance gets blocked. We get a power play for Boston. That's killed off. 3 shots on that power play for Boston. The Bruins press after it's done. The shots are 11-3 for Boston with 5 minutes left. Senators press then with 2.5 minutes left. Things get pushed in a hole by Korpisalo. Remember, he was a Sens goalie. Bruins get pinned down, but they do a pretty good job of blocking the net. It's 1-0 Boston after 2. Third period, the Bruins press at 1.5 minutes. Shots are 3 apiece at 3.5 minutes. We get a power play for Boston. That's killed off. Clevin hits a crossbar. We get a power play for Ottawa. Whistle bails out the Bruins during that power play. It then becomes a 5-on-3. And everything gets killed off after that. So what I mean by the whistle bailing him out is the puck was sitting behind Korpisalo, but the referee blew the play dead before the puck was put in the net. Otherwise, we'd have a completely different game to talk about here. Shots are 7-4 for Ottawa with 5 minutes left. The goalie pull happens with 2:20 left. 50.4 seconds left. The Sens call a timeout. And at 19:55, Pastrnak hits the empty net. 2-0 win for Boston. So the Tony the Tiger Magnets on the board. Boston goes to 24-20-6 on the season. The Senators 24-20-4, which is a very popular record on this first board. Shots on net, 11-7 for Ottawa in the first, 12-8 Boston in the second, 10-7 Ottawa in the third. The shots are 29-26 for Ottawa. Ottawa, a team that hasn't had a goal that's counted in about 2.5 games now. Power plays, Ottawa 0 for 4, Boston 0 for 2. The hits, 27-20 for Boston. Forsberg saves 24-25. Korpisalo, 29 saves on 29 shots. All right, next up, Montreal and Detroit. So it's Montembeault versus Talbot. Shots are 2-1 Detroit at 3 minutes. Sider breaks up an Anderson rush chance. The Wings press at 4.5 minutes. Gallagher fires one wide on a rush. The Wings press at 8.5 minutes. Raymond tries to bat one out of the air. Near miss there. Soderblom's denied. Montembeault holds. The shots are 10-3 for the Wings with 8.5 minutes left. Larkin has a rush chance that's held, and then at 13 minutes, Berggren scores the assist to Larkin on that one. Wings look for another. We get a power play for the Habs. That becomes 4-on-4, and just after the play gets back to 5-on-5, DeBrincat buries one from the side of the net. Raymond and Sider with the assists. That's at 19:55. So with that last, just before the buzzer goal, Detroit up 2-0 after 1. Second period, Veleno has a 3-on-2 chance that's held. Rasmussen has a wrister that's held. Power play for Montreal. That leads to a shorthanded goal. Yep, Kopp wires it on a breakaway. Edvinsson with the assist at 4:25. It's 3-0 Detroit. Wings finish the kill, which is the important part with getting that shorthanded goal. Make sure you kill off the penalty as well. But then at 5:29, Kirby Dach scores from Dvorak and Gallagher. The Wings then get a power play. The score now 3-1, and they make it 4-1. At 7:50, it's Larkin. He catches Montembeault off the post. Tarasenko and Sider with the assists. It's 4-1 for Detroit. The Wings look for another, but at 11:06, Gooley scores for Montreal to make it 4-2. Laine and Dach with the assists. Berggren has a rush chance. That's held. Montreal presses in the final minute. It's 4-2 Detroit after 2. Third period, teams trade turnovers. The Habs press at 2.5 minutes. Larkin has a sharp angle shot that's saved. The Habs press at 4 minutes. In fact, the shots are 5-3 for Montreal, 5.5 minutes in. The Wings score, but it's immediately ruled goaltender interference. We get a power play for Montreal. That's killed off. Larkin to Casper, near miss there. The Wings get a power play. That's killed off as well. But then with 1:04 left, the Wings get a power play to bring this game to a halt. And they win this one 4-2. They go to 22-21-5 with the win. With the loss, Montreal 24-20-4. So they have the same record as Ottawa. And another team on this board we're going to talk about. Shots on net, 17-4, Detroit in the first. 15-12, Detroit in the second. 13 apiece in the third. Final shots are 45-29 for Detroit. Power plays, Montreal 0 for 3. Detroit 1 for 4. The hits, 24-19 for Montreal. Montembeault saves 41 out of 45. Talbot saves 27 out of 29. So rough night for Montreal. Great night, though, for Detroit. We'll see if they can build upon it. Detroit's next game is at home against Tampa. That should be an interesting one. All right, next up. Philadelphia and the Rangers. Ersson versus Shesterkin. Konechny has a rush chance that's saved. And then at 1:25, Tippett has one go in off his skate on a rush. Konechny and Frost with the assist there. So it's 1-0 Philadelphia. Great start for the Flyers. Shots are 4-2 for the Rangers, though, 2 minutes in. So the Rangers are getting their chances. Ersson's playing pretty well at this stage. Flyers press at 3 minutes. We get a power play for the Flyers. That becomes 31 seconds of 4-on-4. Ristolainen has a net drive that's defended. Everything gets killed off there. And then at 8:59, Schneider deflects one in close to get the score tied at 1. Kaliev and Smith with the assists. The Flyers press to respond. But at 10:24, Edstrom tips a point shot top shelf. The assist to Lindgren and Fox. It is suddenly 2-1 for the Rangers. The Rangers press for another. There's more pressure by the Rangers in the final minute. They're up 2-1 after 1. Second period. Flyers press at a minute and a half. Kreider with a near miss from the side of the net. The shots are 4-0 Philly at 4 minutes. The Rangers press at 4.5 minutes. And at 4:44, Miller scores from Borgen and Panarin. So suddenly it's a 3-1 lead for the Rangers. Hathaway then fires one high on the rush. The Flyers press at 6.5 minutes. They get more pressure 8.5 minutes into the period. We get a power play then for Philadelphia. That's killed off. There's a post for Panarin, and then his rebound is blocked in front of the net. And then Richard takes a skate to the cheek. He got up and skated off. He was okay, but that's always scary when you see a guy down on the ice and he takes a skate to the face. So thankfully, he's okay. It is 3-1 for the Rangers after 2. Third period early press by the Flyers, but at 5:15, it's Hedl scoring. He makes it 4-1 from Vakanainen and Miller. Shots are 4 apiece at 7 minutes. The Rangers press. They're kept to the outside. The Flyers would get a power play, and they'd pull the goaltender because they're down by a few, and Fox hits the empty net. So he gets his third of the season. I think that's the second empty netter of his 3 goals. It's also a shorthanded goal. And that's at 16:53, makes the score 5-1. With 1:56 left, the Rangers get a power play, and they score on it. Riley Smith at 18:15 from Lafreniere and Hedl, making your final score 6-1 for the Rangers, thus the no mercy magnets on the board. The Rangers are 24-20-4. Yes, they have caught Montreal and Ottawa. The New York Rangers are steamrolling their way towards a playoff spot. They have now got points in, I think it's 10 straight now. Philadelphia 22-21-6 with the loss. Shots on net, 15-11 Rangers in the first, 17-8 Philly in the second, 14-6 Rangers in the third. Final shots are 37-34 for the Rangers. Power plays, Philadelphia 0 for 3, the Rangers 1 for 2. Both teams had 12 hits in this game. Ersson, 31 saves on 36 shots. Shesterkin, 33 saves on 34 shots. He's really starting to live up to that contract extension. All right, next up. Last one on this board is Columbus and Carolina. Columbus has lost the second half of every back-to-back this season. And it's something that I should have talked about in that video I did earlier today on Columbus because they have more back-to-backs to come. Tarasov versus Anderson in this one. Early jump for Columbus. Shots are 2-0 in favor of the Blue Jackets. 2.5 minutes in. Kane's press at 3 minutes. Good flow. Few whistles early in this. Stahl's denied on a net drive. And then at 7:08 on a net drive of his own, Kent Johnson risks one into the net. Del Bell, Belouz, and Van Riemsdyk with the assists. Del Bell, Belouz is so fun to say. Then at 9:48, Marchenko roofs one from in close. Fantilli and Van Riemsdyk with the assist there. It's 2-0 for Columbus. Shots are 9-7 Columbus with 8 minutes left. Marchenko to Voronkov. That chance gets blocked. We get a power play for Carolina. That's killed off. And then Werenski's denied in the closing seconds. So it's 2-0 Columbus after 1. Great road period. But then the second period. Power play for Carolina, and they score on it. Jarvis scores from Aho and Natchez at 2:48. Then there's a toe save that robs Jarvis on a rush. So rough as this is, it could have been worse. The shots are 8-0 Carolina at 5.5 minutes. So, yeah, quite the period for everybody on Columbus. At 7 minutes and 11 seconds, Robinson scores from Jarvis and Anderson. The Canes then look for the lead and they find it. Blake scores from Aho at 7:58. Tarasov nearly had that, but it definitely crossed the line. And then Aho just kind of flings one at the net because you can tell the net's open for business. He gets that goal from Blake at 8:33. So tough night for Tarasov. It's now 4-2 in favor of Carolina. We get a power play for Columbus. That's killed off. And then at 11:34, Martinook scores from Jarvis and Stahl. So Seth Jarvis is heating up. We're a few weeks away from the Four Nations tournament. Bodes well for Canada. But then Columbus, a little bit of a comeback here. At 13:21 on a turnover, Van Riemsdyk wires one from the point. Kent Johnson and Jack Johnson with the assists. And then at 14:43, Voronkov scores to make it a one-goal game. Werenski and Fantilli with the assists. The Canes then press in the final minute, but it's 5-4 Carolina after 2. Third period, power play for Columbus. That becomes 4-on-4. Everything's killed off there. Columbus presses at 7.5 minutes. Jarvis is denied on a rush, and then at 11:13, Kotkaniemi scores from Natchez to make it 6-4. Slavin has a shot that stuns Stahl. That was scary. Stahl went down, but he got up. He was okay. Canes press with 4.5 minutes left. Eventually, Columbus pulls the goaltender down by 2, and Jarvis hits the empty net from Svechnikov and Stahl at 18:08. So for Jarvis, I think that's a 5-point game for him. Either way, it's a 7-4 win for Carolina. They go to 30-16-3 with the win. With the loss, Columbus 23-19-7. Shots on net, 13-9 Columbus in the first, 24-3 Carolina in the second, and 10-6 Carolina in the third. So Columbus just didn't seem to have anything left second and third period. Final shots, 43-22 in favor of Carolina. Power plays, Columbus 0 for 2. Carolina 1 for 3. The hits, 22-16 for Columbus. Tarasov saved 36 out of 42. Like I said, rough night for him. Anderson wasn't a lot better, though, at 18 saves on 22 shots, but he has returned from injury recently, so probably just getting back into the swing of things, and that's how you bail out a goaltender that's not necessarily having a great night. All right, let's go to board number 2. Vegas and St. Louis. Samsonov versus Hofer in 19 seconds in on their first shot. Mark Stone scores for Vegas. It's 1-0 Vegas, and a lot of people probably didn't even reach their seats at that point. Blues look to respond. The shots are one apiece at 4 minutes. A net feed to Roy gets picked off. We get a power play for Vegas. That's killed off. But they do score soon after at 8:54. It's Olofsson from Barbashev and Pietrangelo. The shots are 9-2 for Vegas at the half. And at 10:22 on a rush, Kyrou scores from Holloway to make it a 2-1 score. Vegas looks to respond. The teams trade turnovers. Stone's denied and close. Hofer holds on, and honestly, Hofer's the reason this one's even close after 1. Scores 2-1 in favor of Vegas. Second period, early press by the Golden Knights. Good forechecking by Vegas as well. Shots are 3-0 Vegas at 4 minutes. We get a power play for the Golden Knights, and they score on this one. At 6:33, Dorofeev scores from Stone and Eichel. They have power play goals in 7 straight games, the Vegas Golden Knights. So that's a 3-1 lead now. Blues press at 8.5 minutes. The Blues went over 18 minutes between shots in this game, so not great. We get a power play for the Blues. That's killed off. Kolasar is a one-timer that's kicked aside. The Blues go back to the power play. That's killed off as well. It's 3-1 Vegas after 2. Third period, Dorofeev to Eichel. Near miss there. No path to the Vegas net. Shots are 3-1 in favor of the Golden Knights. 3 minutes in. Theodore has a slot shot. That's held. Shots even up, though. 6 apiece at 7.5 minutes. The goalie pull happens with 5 minutes left. And during the 6-on-5, St. Louis scores. Thomas buries a rebound from the doorstep. Buchnevich and Falk with the assists at 16:34. Goalie pull happens again with 2.5 minutes left. And at 19:33, Hurdle gets one at center ice. Puts it in the empty net to make your final score 4-2. Vegas goes to 30-14-4 with the win. With the loss, St. Louis 23-22-4 on the season. Shots on net, 14-4 Vegas in the first, 10-4 Vegas in the second, 9-7 St. Louis in the third. Final shots are 31-17 in favor of the Vegas Golden Knights. Power plays, Vegas 1 for 2, St. Louis 0 for 2. The hits 29-15 for St. Louis. Samsonov saves 15 out of 17, and Hofer 27 saves on 30 shots. All right, next up, Utah and Minnesota, Vejmelka versus Gustafsson, and 1:46 in, Hayden tips in a point shot. D. Simone with the assist. It's 1-0 for Utah. Shots are 2-0 Utah, 3.5 minutes in. The Wild press at 8 minutes. Utah scores. Goalie interference challenge is thrown, and it is no goal. It stays 1-0. Shots are 6-3 Utah at the half. There's a near miss for Kaprizov on a net drive. And Meredith from The Office was at the Wild game, and she's in the background. Did they talk about the fact that she was there? Did anybody? Because it was her. Like, you can't mistake Meredith from The Office. And I'm like, she's in a Wild jersey. She's in like a private. But why is she a season ticket? Was she in? Like what? I just don't know what Meredith's doing in Minnesota. Normally she's in Scranton, isn't she? Anyways, the Wild have a 3-on-2 that's broken up. There's a power play for Utah, and Keller roofs one from the left circle at 15:55. Michelli and Schmaltz with the assists. It's 2-0 for Utah. And then Utah presses with 2.5 minutes left. So after the first period, it was a great road period for Utah. They're up 2-0. We go to the second. The Wild had the only shot on net 3 minutes in. Pressed by Minnesota at 7 minutes. The Wild press some more at 8.5 minutes. The Wild get a power play. That's killed off. The shots are 11-2 for the Wild with 7.5 minutes left. And at 14-14, a net feed gets tipped in by Krause. Motto with the assist. It's 3-0 in favor of Utah. Wild go back to the power play. That's killed off. With 1:18 left, Utah gets a power play, so that rolls over into the third. I'm aware that the actress isn't actually named Meredith from The Office. It's just, to me, she's Meredith. And I think she understands she'll always be known as Meredith. So third period, the Wild finish the kill. But then at 1:48, Hayden buries a rebound at the net. So he gets the second goal of the game. DeSimone with the assist again. It is 4-0 in favor of Utah. It is a quiet crowd in Minnesota. Wild look to respond. The fans call one. The referee does not. Utah presses at 4 minutes. The Wild then gets some pressure 5 minutes in. Shots are 4-2 for the Wild at 6.5 minutes. Utah presses at 9 minutes. Cooley has a net drive that's blocked with 3:24 left. The Wild get a power play. That's killed off. Your final score is 4-0. So the Tony the Tiger Magnets on the board again. Utah, very impressive victory. They outshoot Minnesota 15-5 in the first. Minnesota outshot them 12-3 in the second. And then Utah outshoots Minnesota 11-9 in the third. Final shots 29-26 for Utah. Power plays Utah 1 for 2. Minnesota 0 for 3. The hits 15-14 for the Utah Hockey Club. Vejmelka saves all 26 shots for the shutout. Gustafsson 25 saves on 29 shots. All right, next up, Buffalo and Calgary. So Luukkonen versus Wolf. Teams trade turnovers early on. The lone shot on net was for Calgary 3 minutes in. The Sabres press at 4.5 minutes. There's more pressure by the Sabres at 7.5 minutes. Shots are 4-2 for Buffalo at 8.5 minutes. There's a post for Thompson from in close. And then Coronado takes an offensive zone penalty. So Buffalo goes to the power play and the Flames score on it. It is Huberdeau with the shorthanded goal at 12 minutes. And then most importantly, the Flames follow that up by finishing the penalty kill. Suppressed by the Flames with 4.5 minutes left, we get 2 minutes of 4-on-4. Rasmus Anderson hits a post. The rebound is cleared. And there's some hugging at the horn because it's 1-0 Calgary. And why not just, all the guys are out there hugging. So second period at 2 minutes and 50 seconds on the first shot for Buffalo, they score. Samuelsson from Jokiharju and Lafferty. Shots are 2 apiece at 4 minutes. The Sabres press at 4.5 minutes. Dahlin has a screenshot that's held. Cousins has a rush chance that's caught and held. Shots are 7-2 for Buffalo at 6.5 minutes. Wolf really saved their bacon when he needed to in this one. Sabres press at 7.5 minutes, and there it is. Wolf heroics are keeping it tied, and you jinxed it, Shannon. At 7:18, Thompson scores from Samuelsson and Peterka. It's deflected and close, so now it's not tied. That can't be 7:18. It's got to be like 9:18. Hey, you guys, you can go look it up. But yeah, so the Flames look to respond, and at 10:31 they do. Kadri goes backhand on a rush to tie it up again. So Huberdeau and Peltier with the assists on that one. The Flames get a power play. That becomes 4-on-4. Everything's killed off there. The Flames press with 5 minutes left. With 2:05 left, Buffalo gets a power play. The referee is informed that he sucks, but that power play is killed off. The thing is, it says ref is told that he sucks and killed offs after that. Nothing happened to the referee. It just makes it look like that. So it is 2-2 after 2. Third period. Coronado loses a handle on one in close, but then at 3:29, Peltier deflects in a point shot. Pahal and Kadri with the assists. Calgary has the lead. Flames press at 5.5 minutes. Sharon Govich is denied. Then there's a near miss for Pospisil. Shots are 4 apiece at 6.5 minutes. We then had a fight between Krebs and Uyghur, which Krebs lost really quickly because Uyghur's a southpaw, and guys don't expect that. So I got a chuckle. I'm left-handed, so I did get a chuckle out of that. Like, yeah, they don't expect the left. So there's heavy Flames pressure at 9.5 minutes. There's a power play for Buffalo. That's killed off. Kadri gets a face-off violation penalty with 4:56 left, showing the evolution of the game. The face-off violation penalty was like wildly criticized and ridiculed. Not criticized. And honestly, now we understand that that's a penalty, and Kadri didn't argue about it. He went straight to the box, and then Calgary rewarded him for being so nice by killing off the power play. So then Buffalo pulls the goalie, and at 17:15, Sharon Govich scores from Huberdeau and Kadri into the empty net. With 2:17 left, the Sabres get a power play, so they pull the goaltender on that. And at 17:52, it is Backlund, shorthanded, into the empty net. Coleman with the assist there, and it makes your final score 5-2 in favor of Calgary. They go to 23-16-7 with the win. Buffalo 18-25-5 with the loss. Shots on net, 14-7 Buffalo in the first, 11-8 Buffalo in the second, 11-9 for Calgary in the third. Final shots, 34-26 for Buffalo. I thought they played well, just they buffaloed it. The power plays, Buffalo 0 for 6. That's where they buffaloed it. Calgary 0 for 2. The hits, 20-19 for Buffalo. Luukkonen, 21 saves on 24 shots. Wolf was great. 32 saves on 34 shots. I want to say, too, we have a very good rookie class this year in the NHL. I think it's great. All right, next up, Vancouver and Edmonton. So, Demko versus Pickard. Every time Garland touched the puck, he got booed, because, sure. Early jump for the Oilers. The shots are 3-0 for the Oilers at a minute and a half. They get a power play. That's killed off, so they scored after. At 5:52, Hyman goes 5-hole on a net drive. Draisaitl and Arvidsson with the assists. At some point in time, we're going to have a talk about Demko. This was his fourth straight start. I don't think he's right. I don't feel like he's 100%. He just doesn't seem to be himself, and there's going to have to be a conversation at some point for Vancouver here. Besser, Kent-Barry went in close. The shots are 7-5 for the Canucks with 8.5 minutes left. The Oilers go back to the power play. They score on this one. Draisaitl off a cross-ice pass. He buries it. Hyman and Nugent-Hopkins with the assists at 14-21. And then Henrique scores 20 seconds later from Ekholm and Perry. Perry, during this game, too, he flattened Hughes, dropped Hughes on his head. A lot of arguing about, he didn't fight after that. He doesn't have to. That's the thing. They don't have to fight. So the Oilers look for another, but yeah, they're up 3-0 after the first. Second period, Draisaitl, a sharp angle chance for him is held. And then at 1:59, off of a turnover that Philp forced, Hyman gets the goal. So at 1:59, it becomes 4-0 for the Edmonton Oilers. The Oilers continue seeking the offense. The Oilers draw a power play. That's killed off. 9.5 minutes into the period. The shots are 7-0 for Edmonton. They get another power play to the Oilers, and at 12:02, Nugent-Hopkins scores from Draisaitl and Bouchard. The Canucks answer 25 seconds later. It's Brock Besser from Miller and Suter. The Canucks press with 6 minutes left, and at 15:06, Hronek makes it a 5-2 score. Hughes and Besser with the assist. Things get punchy with 4:20 left because these teams don't like each other. I get it. And it's a lopsided score, so sure. But it's 5-2 after 2 in favor of Edmonton. Third period. Garland has a net feed that's blocked. We get 2 minutes of 4-on-4. The teams trade rushes. Shots are 5-2 for the Canucks at 4.5 minutes. We get 2 minutes of 4-on-4 again as the referees are doing their best to send as many players to the box as often as possible after what happened in the last game. Canucks press at 6.5 minutes. The teams trade turnovers. And then at 10 minutes and 20 seconds, Kapanen buries a rebound on a rush. Emberson with the assist there. It is 6-2 in favor of the Edmonton Oilers. The Oilers press with 4 minutes left. Things get pushy on a hole by Pickard, but this season series is done. 6-2 win for the Oilers. They go to 30-15-3 with the win. They stay within 1 point of Vegas. With the loss, Vancouver 20-17-10. I mean, they're still above NHL 500, but they've won 20 out of 47 games. Something's really got to change in Vancouver. Shots on net, 13-11 Edmonton in the first, 14-4 Edmonton in the second, 11-7 Vancouver in the third. Final shots, 34-26 for the Oilers. Power plays, Vancouver didn't have one. The Edmonton Oilers go 2 for 4. The hits, 25-19 Vancouver. Demko, 28 saves on 34 shots. And Pickard, 24 saves on 26 shots. All right, let's go to board number 3. All right, Pittsburgh and Anaheim. The waterfowl game for today. The Penguins are foul, right? I don't mean foul-tempered. Well, some Penguins can be foul-tempered. So it's Nedeljkovic versus Gibson. Tomasino has the net drive that's out. We've all seen that meme of the Penguin smacking the other Penguin in the back of the head. Shots are 3-0 Penguins at 3 minutes. I mean the Birds, not the hockey players. Penguins press at 4 minutes. There's more pressure by them at 7.5 minutes. Penguins came out really, really well to start this game. But Gibson was quite good too. Killorn can't bury one in close, but then at 9:28, McTavish buries a rebound to give Anaheim that first goal in the lead. Fabry and Trouba with the assists. The Ducks press with 6.5 minutes left. Killorn's denied on a turnover. The Penguins press with 2.5 minutes left, but on a rush at 19:01, Killorn, who had all kinds of opportunities that didn't quite go in, he gets the goal here. Hellison and Zegers with the assists. It's 2-0 Anaheim. The Penguins press to respond, but they run out of time, and so it's 2-0 Anaheim after one. Second period, early press by the Ducks. Dumoulin has a shot that's held. It's all Ducks at this point. The Penguins press at 3 minutes. There's good forechecking by Pittsburgh. Penguins draw a power play, and they score on it. At 5:32, Bunting on a cross crease pass. He buries it. Rust and Raquel with the assists. It's now 2-1 Anaheim. Penguins press at 7 minutes. Shots are 5-3 for Pittsburgh at 9.5 minutes. Ducks press with 9.5 minutes left. There's a press by the Penguins with 7.5 minutes left. Leeson gets denied in close. Carlson's then robbed on a rush with 1:20, and I mean Erik Karlsson, not Leo Carlsson, Erik Karlsson. With 1:21 left, the Penguins get a power play, so they're down 2-1 after 2, but that power play rolls over into the third. The Ducks finish the kill. Glass is denied. Gibson holds there. Vetrano misses an open net, but then at 2:08, McTavish goes around Nedeljkovic in close. Dumoulin and Terry with the assists. The announcers kept talking about the bounce that puck took off the boards. I was more impressed with what McTavish did than with the weird bounce off the boards. Ducks draw a power play. That's killed off. But then at 6:52, Vetrano goes far corner on a net drive. Strome and Terry with the assists. It's 4-1 for Anaheim. Penguins press at 9.5 minutes. We get a power play for Pittsburgh. That's killed off. They pull the goalie with more than 5 minutes left because you gotta. Things get pushy behind the Ducks net, and at 18 minutes, Killorn gets the empty netter. Trouba and Lundestrom with the assists, and then with 1:22 left, the Ducks get a power play. That rolls till the end of the game. The final score being 5-1. The Ducks go to 19, 23, and 6 with a much-needed victory. Pittsburgh 20, 22, and 8 with the loss. Shots on net, 12 apiece in the first, 11-10 Pittsburgh in the second, 12-9 Anaheim in the third. Final shots 34-32 for the Ducks. Power plays, Pittsburgh 1 for 3, Anaheim 0 for 2. The hits 20-12 for Anaheim. Nedeljkovic saves 29 out of 33. Gibson saves 31 out of 32. So, yeah, impressive game for the Ducks. And we'll see if they can keep that going. All right, next up, Washington and Seattle. So Lindgren versus DeCord in this one. Early press by the Capitals. Shots are 2-0 in favor of Washington at 3 minutes. Dubois fires one high on a rush. The Caps score, but it's offside. It comes back. There's a press by the Caps at 5 minutes. The Kraken press at 6.5 minutes. Finally seem to be starting to get things going, but the game really settles into a Washington pace. Washington was dictating this game. The Capitals press with 7 minutes left. The Kraken get pinned a bit, but DeCord making some big saves. Mangiapane's denied on a breakaway. It's scoreless after the first. Second period, the Kraken press in a minute and a half. Ferrari has a shot that's held as Capitals get some pressure. There's a press by Washington 4 minutes in, and then at 4:36, Protas has one that just pinballs into the net. Dubois with the assist, and so Protas, his first 20-goal season, I do believe, and it's 1-0 Washington. Shots are 6-1 Washington at 6 minutes. Kakko has a net feed that gets picked off. Protas fires one high in a rush. We get a power play for Seattle. That's killed off. With 4.5 minutes left, the shot showed 8-0 for Washington. So that shot Seattle had, yeah, they took that away. Like I've said, the shots are always getting audited, and you see them going up and down. There was a game the other night where I noticed that during the intermission, a team was losing shots. At 18:05 on a breakaway, Ethan Frank buries his own rebound, and yeah, he looks pretty good. So it's 2-0 for Washington. Bjorkstrand then gets robbed on a fast break. It stays 2-0 Washington after 2. Third period, Frank to Sandin, near miss there. Wilson flattens Mahura. They were discussing whether or not maybe it was a charge, but I mean it looked like a pretty hard hit, but clean to me just personally. And again, there's a lot of games on, so I just look at the replay and go, yeah, I think that's probably fine. The Caps press at 4 minutes. I mean, Wilson will fight anybody, so what are you going to do? Kakko can't bury one in close. The shots are 5-3 Washington at 8 minutes. The Kraken press at 9.5 minutes. Eller has a breakaway. That's saved by DeCord, who is easily the best member of the Kraken tonight. Caps press with 5 minutes left. The goalie pull happens with 4 minutes and 15 seconds left because they're down by 2. And at 16:32, who else? Ovechkin hits the empty net. Van Riemsdyk with the assist. So Ovechkin, I believe that's number 875 for him. He's going to get there. Final score in this one's 3-0. Washington goes to 33-10-5 with the win. With the loss, Seattle 21-25-3. The slide continues. And I say that even though Seattle's had some victories recently, but they've got to string these together. Shots on net, 15-9 Washington in the first, 10-4 Washington in the second, 9-8 Seattle in the third. Final shots, 33-22 for Washington. Power plays, Washington didn't have any. Seattle had one. They didn't score on it. Hits, 16-8 for Seattle. Lindgren saves all 22 shots for the shutout. That's the Tony the Tiger magnet. Decord, 30 saves on 32 shots. And the last game of the night is bonkers. And we knew it was going to be bonkers, didn't we? We had 12 goals in the last one, so why not have more than 10 in this one too? So you'll notice that the 80s magnet didn't quite fit, so I had to find the one that kind of does and put it in sideways, because none of them, with these logos being larger, yeah. Anyways, Annunen versus Askarov in this. Early chance for the Sharks, but after those early couple of shots for the Sharks, we get a power play for Nashville, and at 3:58, Nyquist scores from Novak and Shea. At 4:51, Novak scores from LaRue and Svechkov. And how about that Fedor Svechkov? When Svechkov was drafted, I believe I made a video on Svechkov, and I talked about Svechkov before the draft too. Like, good player, and he was seen as like a middle six forward and probably really good defensively too, but he's looked really good for them. So it's 2-0 Nashville. Shots are 7-2 Nashville at 5.5 minutes, and at 6:53, Forsberg deflects in a point shot, Barron with the assist. So it's 3-0 Nashville. Smith versus Cunnin happens on the following faceoff, and then before that next attempt to drop the puck, we get McCarron versus Goudreau, and then we got LaRue versus Dellandrea. So we had 3 fights before a puck gets dropped. And I'm not talking about like at the same time, just a fight, they go off, then a fight, they go off, then a fight, they go off. Yeah, it took a while. So that all happens, and then at 8 minutes and 12 seconds, Walker Duehr tips one in. It's his first goal as a member of the San Jose Sharks. Kovalenko and Ferraro with the assists. Novak then fires one high on a rush, but at 16:34, Ferraro goes bar down on the blocker side from Granlund and Liljegren. So that makes it 3-2, and it felt like all those fights, maybe it did get San Jose going. Nashville presses to respond, but it's 3-2 for Nashville after one. Second period, a minute and 38 seconds in, Philip Forsberg scores to make it 4-2. Sissons and Shea with the assists. Sharks press at 2.5 minutes. Wallman has a shot that gets blocked out. Nashville presses at 6 minutes. We get a power play for Nashville, and they score on it. It is Stamkos burying a loose puck behind Askarov. He just wasn't able to hold on to it. Marchessault and Yossi with the assists at 7:07. We then get a power play for San Jose. That's killed off. And at 12:39, Thrun scores from Wenberg. Following that at 13:54, so a little over a minute after that, Zetterlund scores from Smith and Granlund. So suddenly we have a 5-4 game, and then Dellandrea gets hit. It's a head hit. He exits. I think he's, by the look of it, I would say there's a concussion involved in this. So Cole Smith gets a major, and they're reviewing it. And just looking at the replay, I'm like, yeah, he's out. I don't know what Department of Player Safety is going to do, but I would not be surprised to see a suspension out of this. It was rough, and Dellandrea did not come back into the game. So the fact that there's an injury, very likely a concussion, that is supposed to be one of the factors the Department of Player Safety uses to decide whether or not there's going to be punishment. So that means a 5-minute major power play, and Celebrini scores on it. He roofs it from the slot past a screen. Granlund and Eklund with the assists of 15-21. I believe it was Eklund that was providing the screen in front of the net. Preds then kill the rest of the major, though, which is important because 5-minute major, you can get lit up. So it's 5-5 after 2. Third period. Early Nashville power play, that's killed off. Nashville presses at 5 minutes, as I'm like, don't take so many notes, you need a second column. This is a game. In fact, I don't need that 4 on the board. I can get rid of that. But I was like, I don't want to spend too much time on this game because it's Nashville and San Jose not really in the playoff mix. Nashville would go back to the power play. They score on this one as well. At 8:16, Svechkov buries one top corner, so he's on a 3-game goal-scoring streak. Shea and LaRue with the assists. Shots are 7-2 for Nashville with 7.5 minutes left. There's a delay game call that gives Nashville a power play. That becomes 4-on-4. Everything gets killed off there. And eventually, the game comes to an end, and Nashville wins 6-5. They've now won 5 in a row. They're 18, 22, and 7 with the win. With the loss, San Jose 14, 31, and 6. They're going to lose 10 in a row, aren't they? And I'm going to have to do another video on the Sharks. That's what's going to happen. Shots on net, I have to make sure I don't leave that number sitting there or I'll forget. I'm old. Shots on net, 12-11 Nashville in the first, 11 apiece in the second, 15-13 Nashville in the third. Final shots, 38-35 for Nashville. Power plays, Nashville 3 for 5, San Jose 1 for 4. The hits, 23-13 for San Jose. Annunen saves 30 out of 35. And Askarov, 32 saves on 38 shots. So that's going to hurt some advanced stats, I think, for Askarov. Anyways, there you go. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe in the event you may not have done so already. Thank you guys so much for all your support, as always. I will talk to you again soon.